Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone had a wonderful day yesterday. We had some hits yesterday, some wins yesterday. Oh my gosh, some wins yesterday. Look, I didn't even look for as much as we got yesterday. That wasn't my goal. I knew I was willing to round trip my bag if just to get to my target. I knew I was willing to round trip my bag just to get to my target. We got to my target. I said on stream yesterday, I said I might change my mind and get greedy. I didn't change my mind and I regret not getting greedy. But we got there. So I'm happy about that. I'm gonna show you a couple of things real quick though. Put you over here on the weekly time frame. All right, you can see we're at resistance, right? You see this shelf right here? This shelf is where we're capping out at right now. See that? So we're at resistance there. I'm gonna show you another way to look at this too. You got this resistance right here. You see that number right there, that 51? That means it's a mean reversion. Price action is always going to return to the mean. So you're just at a mean reversion on the weekly time frame, which means you're at your mid-range of your RSI. That's what that is. It show you that right here. Uh, right here. See that green one right there? That's your mean reversion right there, along with this shelf over here of volume that we're capping out at. You see how we're starting to slow down now. Plus all the liquidations yesterday. Like price really, really, really got a huge boost off of what? Off of the liquidations. So the forced buys is what drove price action up as aggressively as it did. Now there was a lot of other stuff in here too. Like we're not gonna, pretend like we didn't have the bull divs on the daily and the weekly, and that we weren't sitting there coiling and waiting to break out of a range, because we were. We were. It showed that price action had underlying strength. We only bounced into our trend line down here at the lows. We started to hold this area right here. We had already gotten back above our point of control on the weekly time frame. So everybody's eyes should have been looking up until you had a reason to look down. We didn't have any reasons to be looking down, but we are at some resistance. Another thing right here, if you put your VWAP on your low, and this is gonna matter to what chart you're using. You put your VWAP on your low, and then you put on your bandwidth multiplier right here. You see you're also hitting your first standard deviation right here, where you have that shelf of resistance right there as well. Now, I will say that price can always go higher. Absolutely. It can always go higher. Let me get that off my chart. It can always go higher. This is your volatility range right here between that red line and this green one right here. This is your volatility range. We have not changed market structure on the weekly time frame. No, we have not. We don't do that until we get into this area right here, and we can see a closure above this, and it is your volatility range. It is dead set your volatility range. So price action can get a little bit of a pullback, and at some point maybe choose to come up here. But right now we are definitely at resistance. I don't encourage the shorts. I don't. Um, it's gonna take a lot. Just looking at all of this over here, like it's gonna take a lot. Like you're gonna see some consolidation. You're not about to get a V-shaped recovery. You're gonna consolidate for a while. You're gonna need to see some things start to cool off, because right now bulls are feeling themselves. They're feeling themselves. I am not in any positions right now, at all. I took my profits on my long on Bitcoin. I took my profit on my long on Chainlink. I took my profit on my long on BNB. And so I am not in any positions right now. I'm not even about to look. I'm not considering the short. I'm not considering it. But if you wanna be the one to do it, you go ahead. Right now, this is the other thing. We're so close to hitting our golden pocket. We got through the gold, we got through the 382 50% retracement. We're just inches away from that golden pocket. Just inches away from it, even though we're at that shelf of resistance. Once you see price action come back down below that shelf of resistance, once you see it break above it and come back down below it and try to push through it again, and it starts to struggle, then I would consider taking a short position. But right now, we're just so close to hitting that golden pocket. We don't have to hit it, but we're very close to hitting it. I think psychologically, market opens and people gonna be pushing for that. They're gonna be pushing to get to that golden pocket. Like, what's the point right now? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the point would be right now to jump in on the short on it, but definitely, of course, we're in the clouds on some of these time frames, and that's fine. That's why I'm saying, like, when you get in the clouds like that, that is the worst time to short. The worst time to short is when your RSIs are that high. A lot of people look at that and they say, "Oh, the RSIs are overbought. Time to short." No, I've back tested that multiple times. You lose a lot when your RSI get that high because that just means that price action still has momentum to keep pushing higher. That's what that means. That means you get a small pullback and continuation up because it has to cool off. Like right now, I see here on the daily. Let me see what we look like on the daily. All right, we're yeah, trend's still pretty good, pretty strong here on the daily. Of course, you see the bulls are in control, blah 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 blah. We also have the Bollinger Band breakout. Don't forget that it's a Bollinger Band breakout, regardless of what these lower time frames are doing. We just broke out of our compression range. That means the Bollinger Band mouth is open. You don't short an open mouth Bollinger Band. Not yet. It's going to consolidate and then it's going to give you the opportunity to be short. But right now, that's just not what you do. So we were looking right here yesterday. We were talking about the fact that we were just compressing. We were just going sideways. All through here, we were just going sideways and compressing. We all know that. And then when you put your Bollinger Band on, then you see you got an open mouth. Open mouth. That's not what you do. You're still far outside of standard deviation too. Bollinger Band is still expanding. You don't have a short in a condition like that. That's why you're not pausing when you look at your lower time frames and you're 96, 98, dang near 100 on your RSI. Don't matter. Your higher time frame is what you got to take into consideration right now. And your mouth is open. Bitcoin's still eating. It's still eating bears. It's eating bears out there. It's eating bears out there. Don't do it. Don't do it. But major resistance. This is your 1 year VWAP right here. 1 year VWAP right here. This is that same golden pocket that we're looking at, that we were just looking at right here. This was all I was trying to do yesterday. I said, if I can just get up here, if I can just get here and take my money, and I might want to get greedy. I didn't get greedy. I did not get greedy. But we're at resistance everywhere you look. Monthly time frame. Mean reversion. But the good news is if you are bearish, put you back over here. If you are bearish, besides all this right here, you still have a big spread. What? Okay, let's go here first. All right, so we're at the next momentum break for the weekly time frame. You're a little off from hitting that right there. You're a little off from hitting that, but that's your next momentum break. We talked about the momentum still rising over here on the 1 hour on the weekly time frame. We talked about that fact that momentum stepping right now. So you're a little bit off from this right here taking place, um, which could be in line with this over here, or maybe it just comes into here. Maybe it just gets through this little peekaboo hole right here and it just does that 75,906. Maybe that as it gets into that golden pocket, maybe that's all it does. I don't know, but I don't see the short. Not yet. Not yet, but it's a coming. It's a coming as we are at major resistance. Let's take a look over here on the. I was about to show you here on the weekly. You see that big gap? This big gap right here. That don't work for me. That's a big gap between we've talked about this. This is your MACD. Your delta is still at a negative 4,000. It's not it's a correction. It's a beautiful correction, but it's just a correction. Your delta is still at a negative 4,000. Um your winning moves, even though a MACD is, people call it lagging, is confirming. is what it is. It's not a lagging indicator. It's a confirming indicator. So it confirms trend. It confirms trend. And we've often discussed how MACD has to be above the zero line. And anytime you get your MACD above the zero line, then your the rally is on for you, and you can just sit in it. Like you can be late and be a winner. Like it's only crossed above the zero line 6 times historically. Six. It's at -4,000. So you're not there. We're not there. We're not quite there. Coming up, but not quite there. Like really far off. Really far off. That's one cross right here, MACD across the zero line right there. That's two MACD across the zero line. I did count the little small ones in here too. This is on the Binance chart, so I'm not going to get all the coverage in here, but it's only been 6 times. 6 times historically that MACD crossed above the zero line on the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, and it was off and on to the races. Then we also counted the times that it failed twice when it did it, so 4 wins, two short-term losses. um yeah, just a relief bounce, that's all. And again, price action really accelerated because of the forced buy liquidations that really catapulted price to the upside, like like nobody's business. Crazy, 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 crazy. Let's get the monthly time frame over here. Again, I just highlighted that you're at some resistance right here, slightly above it. Cool, 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 but still at major pivotal resistance right here. Same way it was at major pivotal support when we were down here. Major pivotal resistance. We finally got back inside of our channel where we were stuck outside of for forever, just banging, 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 banging. And then finally we got through. The force buys pushed us up past our first resistance point, the 66,933, 86, and now we're at the next one right here. So, yeah, I mean, resistance for sure. I just wouldn't fade getting into that golden pocket. I just wouldn't fade that part. Um, Only thing I saw in here, and again, where you going? I actually don't wait on the MACD on the monthly time frame. I don't do that one. I do the RSI. I will say I was liking this when I saw it. Um, that we had actually swung back up above our historical floor. And of course, we've covered these right here. Usually, you see a swing down below the wherever I have these lines at like this. So you usually see a swing down below prior momentum, and we didn't get that swing down below. We came into it and we might have at some point actually pushed through it, but we don't see it physically on the chart where we did it. So it looks like we just kind of kissed it and we moved away. And then we start this process where we come back up. Like we had one time over here where we came back above the historical floor and then we slipped back down below it. So I felt some kind of way over here. It was very exciting. I will say that. And now we're doing it again. I don't think you got too many more times on that. Either that bottom is in or the bottom is. I don't know. It really doesn't matter trying to figure out whether or not the bottom is in. It honestly doesn't. It honestly doesn't. If you have reasons to buy, buy. I think the reason why people are so focused on whether or not the bottom is because they're using leverage. Outside of that, like if you got a reason to buy it. She buy it. And we've seen other markets perform um, while Bitcoin wasn't doing too much. And we know that we go through a 1 year. That's the other thing, too. Like we go through a 1 year, 365-day, 364, whatever you want to call it, of a bear market. And that started in what, October? And we're August. We're close. Unless we're gonna do it earlier the same way, some other things changed during the bull market. There were some changes, so maybe it's just that time. I don't know. Um, Honestly, I don't care if the bottom is in or not. I don't care. Um, just trade the chart when it looks like you should be trading long, and short when it looks like you should be short. And that's, I mean, it's really just that simple. Like, don't complicate it. If you're above major key areas or you're holding major key areas, you should not, unless you know, like, don't, like, there's no reason to be overly bearish right here. There's no reason to be overly bearish. And I've talked about this many streams. There's no reason to be bearish when you're holding the support. You're holding the support. Every cycle we held support. I mean, if it breaks, it breaks, and then we'll start to look down here at these areas. So we're not ridiculous enough to not to assume that we can't still do this. We're not like that. But when we're holding support, we're holding support. And when we're at resistance, we're at resistance. You know, just choosing when you take the short or when you take the long. That's important. Okay, so we had this well, I wouldn't even like, look, we're gonna come back to that mean. Yes, 71 right now on the 15-minute time frame. Trust me, you price is going to come back and do a mean reversion. It's just it's inevitable. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna wait and let things cool off. When you look right here and you look at how in control bulls are, like, that's just like, even with this little squeeze right here, like, that's just a big difference. 37 to 10. I don't think so. That's gonna have to come in a little bit closer. Otherwise, it's just gonna keep bouncing. It's gonna have to come in a little bit closer. One thing I would be watching for though is how fast you reset on your momentum. Because if you coming down, if price is coming down slower and your momentum is speeding up on you on the move down, then it's just gonna bounce back up, and it's just gonna keep doing that. It's just gonna keep doing that. So I'm waiting for my short. I will let you know when I do decide to take the short position. But right now I'm waiting. One of these key levels, either that shelf of support that we were looking at on the higher time frame, this 1 year VWAP right here, um, the the pivot on the monthly time frame. I just need to see price fall back below it and struggle to come back above it. I need to see that first, and then I'm gonna take my short position. But I don't need to catch the top. That's a nice little topping candle right there, and the trend line that we got to break up above from here. Um, yeah, I'm gonna need to see it do that first, and then I'll take it. It's not worth the risk. Right now, I think that we're like um, almost two deviations. Um, have you ever seen me do deviations? When you consolidate and you deviate out, your first resistance usually comes in around a 1 to 1. So that's your first deviation right there. Resistance at 1 to 1. You broke above that, held on top of it, and then you push through that. The second one comes in a little bit closer to around about where that golden pocket is at, though. So that's the second deviation right there. And then you also have a third deviation. Three is usually about a max. I mean, even on a Bollinger Band or something like that. This is different because you don't have to worry about the squeeze, and you can because when you have a squeeze and you break out, you disregard the first move. You don't start to look at it differently until you fall back below your standard deviation one. Once you fall below your standard deviation one, then you can start to look at it differently because your bands will stop pushing higher and they'll start to go sideways. But in this case, when you count deviations using a parallel, um, you don't have to worry about that. It's based. It's going to be what it's going to be. So just that golden pocket, 786 somewhere in here. I would say personally, I wouldn't I like all of this resistance. I really do. I like the fact that we're near the golden pocket. I like the fact that we're seeing price action start to slow down like hell at this shuffle volume right here. I like seeing that. I like the fact that I can identify that we're at some point of resistance and we about to put in a bear deal on the weekly time frame. I like that. Um, Definitely put in a bear div, or do we already have it? Yeah, we're about to put in the bear div as we come into our wall of resistance right there. Gonna put in a bear div against this high. Yep, I like a lot of things right there. I'm gonna take a look at some altcoins with you because we did discuss a couple of altcoins in here that I thought were good buys yesterday. I said to you yesterday, if I were to trade something, it would be BNB and Solana would be my two picks. And just because when we look at over here, when we look at Solana, we was on the 4 hour time frame looking at Solana, and I was saying to you, I wouldn't short it. Like you could try right here. You could try because it rejected a couple of times right here. But personally, I wouldn't short it because momentum was still rising. And that Solana was looking to get into that golden pocket 786 that was wrapped through here. It came into that. You got a little reaction and it blasted past that. And it's now sitting at the larger golden pocket level right here now. So you're at your big golden pocket level right here. And then up here, the 786. The 786 is at, like, I don't really see it getting past that, to be honest with you. There's no spread that's going to happen there. Uh, I looked at it on the monthly time. No, it was a weekly. I looked at it on the weekly time frame, and it doesn't imply that there's some sort of spread that can take place right there. But your volatility reaches all the way into the 786, which is where that red line is located. At it's funny that it just happened to match up with it, but Solana is at the macro golden pocket right now. Well, not macro, but this one pulled off of this high, so Solana's at that golden pocket, the original golden pocket that we were looking at, golden pocket 786 that we were saying Solana was trying to get into yesterday was this one right here. So I was like, I wouldn't short it because momentum is still increasing. So we were over here on this chart on this 4 hour, and I was showing you how your momentum was still pushing up, like it was stair stepping, like it's not something that you look to short. You see that purple, all that momentum still increasing. No reason to short that. I don't know why this disappeared, but let me make this interval that and we'll put an alert on it for when it does decide to break down below it. But right now, it's so far away from it, it'll chop here, consolidate for a while, maybe even try to push up a little bit higher as it can. I mean, it can, but right now, it's not a reversal for me right now. There's no bear divs or anything like that on this. When you do see the pullback, you may not get any further than a 60 RSI, and then it's going to bounce from there. So a 60 and then continuation up. If it even like from here, if it rejects right here and then it pulls down slightly into a 60, it would just be, where is it at? Do I not have it? Oh, interesting. Let me add it in here. Heck, I don't even know if you get that. So let me just do it like this. Let's take away that old one right there. This is a 60 right here. Right now it's at 81.71. That's a 60. That's a retracement possibility right there. You may only do, we're gonna stop right now. I usually do the 382 50% retracement. We're gonna kill that for a second because I know how bullish it is, which means that this chances are it may only do a 236,382. I start to make it a little bit more shallow when price action becomes a lot more bullish. Like you can still put the 50 on there just in case it does decide to slip through it. But right now, I would look at something like that. Like if it pulled back, like you see that 236 to 382 might be all you manage to get. I can see that now that this 50 is down here below the 60 RSI read right here. This is current on the 4 hour time frame. It's 60 RSI read is going to be 81. $81.70 at least for the next hour. And then it's going to move up. So it's probably going to be like right here between these two. And you probably won't get any lower than that. So that's when I move into these two being my bullish read. What kind of green color are you? I'm just going to make them match. That may be all you get is this right here. Somewhere, just going to put you in the center somewhere like this. And then maybe it wants to finish that out right there at some point. It may only do something like that. So you start to flag out right here into a 236,382, and then you get another push up here for Solana. But you definitely gonna cap right through here. I would say that you're gonna cap right through there before you can get any further. I'm gonna take this off for now because I'm not sure if this is the point where it's actually going to see that rejection here. Um, Trying to see if I have a reason to believe besides it being the golden pocket. I know that volatility again still can push up into that 786, but you're definitely in the region. I'd rather wait to see momentum actually start to cool before I just wouldn't look for the short. I would be patient and look to take the long entry. And it's pointless to fight the trend right now, but I guess if you're going to try it, then you're here. You put in your short, and you determine where your risk factor is right here off of this golden pocket here, and this standard deviation 2 right here. No, that's 1. Standard deviation 1 right here. This orange right here, standard deviation 1, and then your standard deviation 2 is going to be right up there at that red line there. Which doesn't imply some sort of expansion could take place. It just doesn't imply that at all. Um, so that's what I would look for here on Solana. MACD still straight up in the air. Just straight in the air. Like there's no falter, no, like nothing about momentum is changing in here whatsoever. Nothing about momentum says I'm weak. I'm at a psychological level, but I'm not weak. It's saying don't let this church suit fool you. Don't let this church suit fool you. That's what it's saying. But that's so. Um, Chainlink, another crazy. Okay, I got Chainlink spot, but I was leveraged long on Chainlink yesterday, and I closed out right before I closed out yesterday. I was on stream when I said I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take my profit on the Chainlink one, and I said I wouldn't buy into it because it was at this major pivot right here. It was coming into. I said it's coming into this major pivot right here. I just wouldn't buy it. Like it was reading toppy. I just wouldn't do it. But once Bitcoin dominance picked up and it pulled Chainlink up. Chainlink broke through the major pivot, came back and back tested the major pivot, bounced off of it, and then pushed up higher. And the next major pivot is up here for Chainlink. Like I think I got an idea on what Chainlink can do right now. I can tell you it looks like it's a little bit tired. It looks like it is. The Chainlink did this part right here like late. It was long after all the other coins like BNB and Solana, and because Chainlink was already ahead of them. So it didn't do this part until even after Hyperliquid. Once Donald Trump said Hyperliquid name yesterday, um, Hyperliquid bounced off. Chainlink was still sitting around the same area. And then afterwards, I was like, man, I should just jump back into Chainlink because it did not do what the rest of them did. And I think that it probably has a chance to do it. I'm gonna tell you, I FOMO into Chainlink right before it did this, and I talked myself out of it. I closed it out and said, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna FOMO um, and just put myself at risk. And I instantly regretted not FOMO, but it was just the right thing to do to not FOMO. So I closed it out, and then it went on and did it because I was like, it hasn't done that, so it's probably going to do it next. And they were there too. It's like Chainlink is there too. Shoot, Hyperliquid. Trump said Hyperliquid, and Chainlink was already rallying. I said Chainlink is gonna get that bust out too. But it, yeah, nothing. This is a standard deviation two right here on Chainlink, but this is on the weekly time frame. I'm gonna have to tell you once again, like I said, starting Monday morning, 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. First thing I say, Chainlink looks like a win. Like Chainlink is looking beautiful. But I long before that was saying Chainlink was a DCA. It's a DCA. It's a buy. Um, but on the 4 hour, here you go. We were right here yesterday. We were right here. And I said, I'm gonna go ahead and close. And I closed out right there. We were at this standard deviation one right here. We was seeing a little bit of a struggle right here. And I was like, well, we're too close to the next pivot, major pivot right here. So I'm just gonna clock out on it. Um, take my little money and go with it. And so that's what I did. Except for my spot bet. I was leveraged long, so that's what happened right there. Standard deviation two right now. Next major pivot up here at 1125, but showing a little bit of slowing down right through here. It's more on track with whatever Bitcoin is doing, and if Bitcoin is getting to a point where it's starting to slow down because it's at major resistance. It's slowing down because it's at major resistance. I'm gonna let the rest of the market open up and give me that though. I think you're gonna get a. I'm not gonna even go there yet. I'm gonna tell you that in just a second. But that's where we're at. Chainlink looks really good. Um, looks really good for the ground. Was that the first time Chainlink was at the White House? I believe it was. And I'm like, it's so ironic that you know I'm looking at the chart and I'm like, that weekly is just different. And then they end up at the White House. Interesting. That's all I got to say about that. Just kind of interesting. But we know that they're being used in the financial market. Um, they're tech. So beautiful there on Chainlink. It wasn't one that I suggested buying yesterday for sure. I did not. Um, Hyperliquid. I even closed out my hype position, which I mean, it finally did get through. Like yesterday, when we got into the 786, I started to struggle a little bit. We did get above our value area high here for the larger range in here for Chainlink. I do need to check on our channel and see where we're at in regards to that. But Hyperliquid, man, I hate I left all that money on the table. I ain't gonna kid you. It was just some things that I was just like, I'm a little tired on right now, and they ain't looking, they don't looking like they got that same energy, and the energy is what I needed. Like we knew that we were back above our macro value area low. We got long again right through here. We got long right in here initially. I took my profits right in here. We got to pull back. I jumped back into the long position. We entered that. I entered that one when I was live streaming and told you, okay, this is looking good. I'm going back in. And then when we got through here and we started to, just look and a little bit topped in here, because we had like some bear divs through here against this high. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and just close it out, and I'll consider re-entering. And then when we got here yesterday, I was on stream and I said I'm probably gonna regret, because I had the fast trend break through here, and then we had this one down here. And so I'm probably gonna regret not making that buy, but I didn't buy it back, and it didn't pump until Trump said Hyperliquid anyway. So that's what that is. If it's more news driven, it probably won't last, but we'll see. It's a lot of big whales in Chainlink, and um, they'll be taking profit. they will, they will be taking profit. Let me delete that one. That's not the one I want. Where's our big channel? Oh, here we go. Our macro parallel. So let me turn some stuff. Well, I ain't gonna be able to turn that off. I'll tell you what I can do though. I can get rid of old analysis. Can get rid of this old analysis here. We came back up above that. That was where the weekly sale took place, and we had broke our ascending trend right through there. I don't need this anymore. We knew we had broke through that, which was another reason for getting long on hyperliquid. Uh, yeah, it's been bouncing. It's been bouncing right here. You see every bounce, 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 bounce. If you want it to look like this, though, you're gonna have to change your settings on your RSI because this isn't a close. This right here. This is a high plus low divided by two. If you don't know what a high plus low divided by two is, I'm gonna explain that to you real quick because we all need to be educated, right? A high plus low divided by two is what you would get if you was on Hakanashi. So it just holds you in a setup for longer. That's it. It's a Hakinashi. Hakanashi uses it. So watch this. I'm gonna change it to a close, and you see how it looks different. Now my line doesn't match anymore because I changed it to a close. So on a close, it would have showed us like this, where we got these few bounces, and then we got the swing fail on that bounce. So we dropped down, we swing failed, and we came back up. But I'm gonna show you this too now. So I'm gonna change this to Hakanashi, and you'll see Hakanashi is gonna switch you to HL2. So you go Hakanashi, and see what happened. It automatically changes you to a high low too. So you don't have to put it on your candlesticks. Let me fix this. If you don't want to use Hakanashi on your candlesticks and you are an RSI person, if you switch your RSI to a HL2, it's going to be your Hakanashi for you because that's what Hakanashi is. This. Okay, so I'm going to take it off of Hakanashi. And you see our line messed up again. I'm going to put it back on HL2. And you see our line come back into play. So that's all that is right there. Just like for you to, I study. I'm a studying gal. I study the charts. All right, but I mean, looking pretty good. Multiple bounces off of that right there. Eventually, it's gonna end up spilling over on it. I don't really like what price action is, but if you were looking for a place where price action might cap out, I would look back at the top side of the channel. That's where we got our first cap out at right there. That's where we got our second cap out at right there. So if it keeps pushing higher, which I don't know if it will or won't. If it does, then at least you'll have a plan, and your plan to be the top side of this channel right here. Once again, you can also extend the channel up to capture these lower wicks. I haven't changed it at all. It should actually be touching. Oh, there you go. Touch. It doesn't look like it off of this four, but it was drawn off of a weekly time frame. So give me some grace right there, because I'm funny about lines. Touch, come up again, touch. Okay, that's what you'll look for on any sort of continuation push here for hyperliquid, which is starting to put in some sort of a rising structure that I would assume is going to break down and pull back on that. Binance. I liked Binance yesterday. I said Binance is a strong buy, and I was in there, and even when I shared it on stream yesterday, I'm like, dang, I'm down a few dollars because my alert went off on this break right here, on this momentum break right here, because momentum will break faster than price action a lot of times. I'm like, dang, it kept telling me to get in, and then it didn't follow through. I said, but it ain't gonna do it too many more times. I know that much. It ain't gonna do it too many more times before it get the breakout. And then we broke out, and we're at the 50% fit retracement right now for BNB. Now, every time BNB gets a pullback, it gets a strong pop to the upside. If one is not showing the weakness that the other ones is, I can tell you right now it's been BNB. In fact, I'm sick on my stomach because when that breakout happened yesterday on BNB and I saw that we were at extreme levels, I closed out. Then I saw us put in a little flag and I was like, I'm gonna get back into it. And I didn't. I just didn't. I didn't. I left a lot of money on the table yesterday, a lot of money on the table. I'm not ashamed of saying it. Uh, I'm affected by it, but I left a lot of money on the table yesterday. I don't want to play around too much. I'm trying to discipline myself that when things start to tell me that they're a little bit out there, just wait on the pullback. Like I didn't really see a reason after closing it to want to get back into it, but momentum is just straight in the air. Like I don't even have look. I don't have any steps on the 4 hour time frame. Nothing is stepping. MACD Delta just straight in the air. Just I mean like that plane. I mean, I don't know if it's Starlink. I don't know what it is. Yeah, let's just call it a rocket. Like those two are just so straight in the air. Like, are we trying to get here to this golden pocket? Perhaps. I know we're at the 50 right now, but we might be trying to like, or maybe it just don't come back at all. But it's gonna get a little pullback, and when it do, this time I'm just gonna take it. But I was waiting for some structure to take place in here, which is why I had jump down on a 15-minute time frame. I don't have the only one I have on an HL2 is Hyperliquid. The rest of them I just have on close, a standard close. But if it breaks my line, I have conditioned myself to flip to a HL2 just to check and see if I needed to actually close out, or looking at my MACD, because once it crosses down below the delta's been crossing below um, the zero line for a quick cool off. And then once it flips again, then it gets to bounce back up. So Delta's been coming down. And then once it flips again, it turns back up. Price just pushes back up. So Delta's close to the zero line. It's probably going to do it again. This is a correction phase right here. See MACD stand above zero line. That means every little pullback is a correction and then continuation to the upside. I was really surprised right here when and of course your bull deals, you're going to see a lot of bullish divergence. This is not the time where I'm not telling you to ignore bear deals, but I'm telling you that they're not going to play out the way you think that they're going to play out. If you're looking for price action to potentially reverse, it's going to have to lose the mean on a higher time frame. Let's just say 4 hour. I like the middle of the range, so 4 hour. You're gonna have to lose that midpoint on the 4 hour before you get a actual like a bigger reversal. And right now, you ain't nowhere near that. You're nowhere near that. Nowhere near it. Um, so just I think as much as BNB has been pulling back has been like the let me do this one. I think this one did the golden pocket. Yeah, because I had it on here, and this one actually did the golden pocket bounce. I remember looking at it before I laid down last night, and I was like, maybe I'll take it. So you can see this one did do the golden pocket right there. So I was looking for, I was thinking maybe this was a 4-5 right here, but then it did it again. So I don't really know what that is. But this right here, I know it wasn't any more than a 236 Fibonacci retracement, 236 382, which is what you want to see. If you're calling something a flag and it moves past that, it's not a flag. I get so sick and tired of looking at channels and they call it a flag and it's not a flag. I don't care if it works out for you. It's not a fucking flag. It's not. I'm sorry for the language. It's not a flag. Flags don't do that. Flags do two, three. Flags do shallow retracements. They don't do deep retracements. You got a channel or you got some sort of falling wedge or something like that, but you don't have a flag. When the last time you seen a actual flag? Like, it's called a flag because it actually resembles a flag. Like, when the last time you seen The flag, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. But that's a flag. That's a flag. Flags do shallow retracements and then they bounce. A flag means people are willing to pay more. They're willing to pay they're willing to pay a premium price to get in. That's why they're so powerful. People are willing to pay a premium price. So, um, let's see, next pullback on this. I'm gonna take it from the lower pivot down here. Since it did, since it did the golden pocket the last time, and we do have, I'm gonna put, I'm gonna look at it. Nope, I'm not gonna look at that one. I'm gonna look at 50 though, and let's see where that is in relationship to any sort of. Uh, I'm gonna assume it can do the golden pocket again. It's been seven's been hugging pretty close through here. So you've been able to push through it. So I'm gonna assume that it can do the gold pocket again. And then from there I will look forward to try to reach for that golden pocket. Uh, it really depends on what Bitcoin does too. If Bitcoin is going to pull back before it taps into that golden pocket, then it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. I won't be looking for that, so I'm just going to take that off. Be looking for something like this shelf support right here, right there, and then your second shelf is right here. So that makes sense for me. That's what BNB is looking to do. I'm just going to look at Bollinger has been crazy. Um, yeah, I'm just going to look for it to do as much as that. Maybe it starts to squeeze again or something like that. But definitely looking to come down a little bit in here. In terms of VWAP, like it's in the clouds, baby. This is just this is a quarter though. Let me see if VWAP is flat though. VWAP has to be flat. It's rising, so I wouldn't use it. I don't like rising. If it's rising, then it just got a lot of energy to the upside. I would switch it. And let me turn off this background stuff. I would switch it, and I think I gotta change. No, I don't have to change that part right there. Let me see where it is on the year in relation to the year. Uh, okay, so VWAP is up here at the golden pocket. I like that. Yeah, I like that. And this VWAP is not rising. And I like to look for my VWAP to either be flat or not rising, flat or descending. But rising, I switch over as a swing trader. I switch over. So I like VWAP golden pocket right there. After a pullback and in a final attempt to push up higher, that's what I would look for on BNB. I think what else did we look at? We looked at I probably should have looked at where I'm pretty sure Solana's VWAP is like way up in the clouds. way up in the clouds. Like there's no way it's sitting close in here. Let me turn this off. Oh, okay. So 1 year VWAP is there. Interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. And it's not it's not going to be something like this for me where it taps that and then it rejects. No, I like to see it break above it, potentially break above it, come down, and it can't do it. It can't do it. That's how I like to see it. But um, I will I will be taking shorts above that VWAP. Maybe not Solana though. I'm scared of Solana. Solana scares me. So I probably wouldn't take a short there. If I look at it on a weekly, let me just see on the weekly. Mean reversion is what you got. Let me hide my box for a second. So mean reversion, everything comes back to the mean. If you don't know, now you know. Everything comes back to a mean, comes back to the mean, and that's what we got right now. Maybe, yeah. If it came above VWAP, I'd short it. I would. I just said I was scared of it, but not at this point. Everything comes back to the mean. So yeah, just a little mean reversion right there. It don't look like they're gonna do no major damage. No major damage. And then let me take that away for a sec. Let me see something else in here. Get that out of the way. Hey, did I ever at some point have anything through here? I don't think. No, I didn't. I didn't. That's how I figured we would drop right here. And then if we lost that, then the chances of coming down here were high. I was saying that. So make sure I say it again, because I saw how we reacted to each one of these rays in here. And when we came down, we reacted at each one of the rays, maybe came back up and rejected. We didn't have anything in this center. Then we hit this one. So I was like, "Did Solana lose this?" Then it's coming down. I actually sold portions of Solana because I started to get scared of Solana. But, let me turn that off. Turn that off. Um, did that for some reason. I don't know why. Let me see. Hmm. Hold on, I got a big one in here somewhere. Where is our larger fixed range volume profile? I don't know. I haven't been on the weekly chart in forever now. When we be 1 day, be 1 month, be. Can always draw it again, right? What was that? Nope. Nope. Hey. Um. Shoot. That's weird. Hold on. It's so weird that I can't find what I'm looking for. I'm gonna use this chart. Something's missing here for me for Solana. I'm gonna have to go all the way back to um, what am I doing? Go all the way back to X just to find my stuff. No, Some monthly, baby. Half 120. It's in trouble. Measure move. VWAP. Not your area. Good market territory. I still don't see my stuff. That's crazy. Maybe I got to go one more. Maybe I got to go one more. Let me do 6. I just want to see. Something's off. Um, not up here, but down here. Something is. It might be it's not the setting. I don't know what it is. My stuff isn't coming up right. But anyway, 786 drop was what it was. I don't know. Something's not coming up right on my chart for some reason, though. Weird. I was trying to find the extra data that I had in here, but I haven't looked. I haven't done analysis on Solana um, in a long time. It's just, that's why I'm having a hard time finding my stuff. And I'm probably even forgetting about what my thoughts were for it. I don't even know what my thoughts were. I don't know what my thoughts were. All right, I'm gonna let it go. Maybe when I'm more prepared to talk about it, I can come back to it. But um, that's basically what I would look for on Soul. We can see that what resistance we're at for it. We just only did a mean reversion for it, which looks pretty good. You got a trend regression up here, just like everything else. You're gonna have a trend regression. I'm just gonna draw my trend regression in and set an alert on it. I got too many alerts. Current interval only. Bear is possible. See, I like that inverse on the RSI. Yeah, you bear divin. You bear divin. For sure, for sure. Bear divin. Um, I do like this. So MACD still rising on Solana. That's crazy. Delta's been more of a struggle. Um, late. Late. I could have sworn I had mapped out where the floor usually is, which this obviously is where the floor usually is for Sol, somewhere right in here. Breakdown. Always look for the swing fail. And I don't think it took that out. Actually just met the energy right there. Met that energy. I'm gonna have to come back and do all of this again. I will say I like the fact that Solana is not losing steam on the weekly time frame. I guess just like Bitcoin right now, it's not losing steam. So pullbacks will be for buying. Pullbacks will be for buying. Something back into here. Oh yeah. Let's see. That was a beautiful, kind of like symmetrical, like you can see where your wall was at. Rejection, rejection. You can see your wall. And then once it broke through it, like that was all she wrote right there for soul. Once it broke through that momentum right there, once it managed to get through that. But again, bear divs, nonetheless, still bear div for now. -8 on MACD, which I wouldn't wait on MACD here. Not on a week, not on Solana. I just wouldn't do it. I can see how lagging, and I said it's not lagging, it's confirming, but I can see how that's just not going to work um, in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I have to find what works. Bear diving, uh, lots of bear divs. Bear diving. Hmm. Lots of bear divs. Um, oof. Value area. Value area low. Stretch it out all the way now. Just kind of see value area low. Okay. Um, that's definitely right about that golden pocket, right? No, that must have been the first. Hold on. Golden pocket 786. Hold on. Now I say I need it. Yeah. 786. Is that $90? Right there. So how did you get through here the first time? Let me hide these rays. Where are y'all at? Right here. Second touch. Oh, okay. So it doesn't have anything in between that. Not really. I suppose I would be interested in something like that. That's exactly what it did the last time. I would think that this liquidity, actually, it's just that one little block. I don't know. Somewhere right in here, though, looks pretty decent. I'm gonna check this one more time right here, just on the standard look, and let me see what happens. Nope, it don't like it. It don't like it. I don't have a choice. Hmm. I'm gonna look for something like that. Let's just say it comes up into this value area low 786. It doesn't see a rejection for some reason. I would look for it to stall out right here. Seems to be reasonable. Just gonna take that upper band off. Seems to be reasonable. So that's the first touch. I think, yeah, seems to be pretty reasonable. It was okay right there. So I'm gonna expect for it to be okay right here too. Just taking out that liquidity and pushing to here. That would be my, as far as I think that price action can probably get to, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll use that as a guide for now, but it definitely has bear divs. I don't see it really getting past resistance with the bear divs unless this energy just keeps going. I mean, ugh, ugh. It is just a mean reversion right now. 2.8 was 2.8 was where? 2.8 is up way too high. So yeah, it's not a reversal to the upside, so I don't see it doing a whole lot personally. I'm not trying to sound bearish. Um, I think Solana's performed very well. But I don't see it. I don't see him put it on the four. Psychological 100 maybe. But aside from that, I don't see it. And what am I? Yeah, I mean that's about it for me. We were just at that larger golden pocket, which is here. But since this is the mean reversion golden pocket and the value area low is here and a 786 from a more local pull off of that daily is there, I'm gonna give that the benefit of the doubt. So I'm just gonna look for momentum to break to get closer, like get pinned in from that point. Personally, that's what I'm looking at. Um, Over anything. Hold on. Yeah. So I'm gonna rock with that for now. For Solana, Bitcoin still pushing. Who else was there? Chainlink go. Okay, I'm about to find out. Once Bitcoin get into that golden pocket dominance, I did notice yesterday, when Bitcoin started to consolidate ever so slightly, that the altcoins kept pushing. I did notice that yesterday. There might have just been a time in the chart where the dominance came down a little bit for Bitcoin. Because it was not managing to go. I thought for sure that it was just blowfin chart, and I was like, why is blowfin suppressing price action? Because when I looked at BNB had took out its top, took out that wick high, and the Binance chart didn't. And then I looked at Coin Glass, and then I can see on Coin Glass, okay, well, it didn't take out the high there either. I started skimming through other exchanges to see if they had taken out the high the same way that Binance chart did, and a couple of them actually did. I saw Bybit, I think, also on Bybit chart, they did not at the moment take out that wick high. So it was a little funny for me yesterday. And it was a big difference. Like it wasn't something that you just didn't notice. Like you noticed that, you know, it was struggling on Blowfin. And that's what I trade on. It was struggling on Blowfin, but it had easily took out the wick high on Binance. I know a lot of people think that Binance is, what Binance is, but it had easily took out the high on the Binance chart. I don't trust hype. I'm proud to see hype moving, but I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I've seen it. I've seen it falter too. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trusting the hyperliquid move from this point. It's just something that's just not sitting well with me at this point. I'm just not. Um, but it is what it is. It might be because I'm not in the long anymore. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'd be sitting here cheering for it if I was still in the long, and I'm still cheering for it. Like I'm happy, but I do have a slight distrust at the moment on Hyperliquid's price action. It's just it's just that the pump was random to me yesterday. Like it wasn't going anywhere until Donald Trump said Hyperliquid's name, and then Hyperliquid pumped, and then Hyperliquid started to. It just started to flex a little bit differently. Like it started to flex a lot differently than some of the other charts. I don't know. It's just something that's just not digesting well with me right now. Um, with hype. But again, if it gets up there to that channel, then that could be a easy short position to take right there, in my opinion. I would probably press the channel up a little bit more just to account for the new information. But it's just something not. I don't know. It's not sitting well with me. It's not sitting well with me. Let me make sure that that's still. Yeah, just wanted to make sure that that was still HL2. And that's gonna bounce obviously because it's got bullish divs down below it. Um, but it's not. Oh my gosh, just not feeling this chart. Let me get off of the 15. Maybe that's what I have to do. Just have to get off of that 15-minute time frame. Oh, what I was talking about, like in terms of look at the alert going on because it's coming back up that trend line. Um, it's just a little weird right now. And if it gets too hectic, I would switch to a 2.8. Um, which I've noticed how a lot of them, even on the 2.8 right now, with what happened yesterday, they've they're just a little bit. I don't know. Um, yeah, that's real bearish divergence. It's actually a really bearish divergence. Just trying to see if the bullish div is actually real. Not necessarily. It's not. It's not. Um, In this case, I would tell you, if you didn't want to do like the trend line break, I would switch to a 28 look back period, and I look for a break below 50. Because when it goes extended like that for a long period of time, um, it may not reverse until something like you can get more of a confirmation. Let me just take that off. You can like get more of a confirmation sometimes on something like that, like right through here. We got above 50 right here. Really took off. That's real bearish divergence. It is a little slight bullish div right here. So it is a little slight bull div right there, but that bear div is just sending me. I don't know. I'm not trusting Hyperliquid right now. It's just how I feel. That is just how I feel. On a 28 look back, that was the last time it did a 92. No, that was yesterday. Did a 92 RSI on a 28 period. Hmm. It's kind of, I don't know. I think if it was, yeah, this is ending. And that is a 15-minute. Twelve. These were drawn off of a close. It wasn't actually drawn off of a HL2 because this is old information. So let me just adjust this old information. I don't have an alert on this anyway. Let me take this one. They'll both be the same. They'll basically be the same as the 4 hour with these local bounces that it's been getting. Just wanted to adjust that for that. Uh, I don't see anything on the 12 that suggests that I should. I almost want to. If it was going to have a bear div, it's probably going to invalidate it. Yeah, it has to close above that high. It has to close above there, which actually capped. Hmm. I don't know. I think the best thing. I think the best thing is just going to be to wait for the momentum fade. To fade. I want to catch the tops, but I think it's going to be to fade it, let it fade. Because if you try it now and it just keeps going against you, you're just going to end up losing money. Like I want to be bearish too on certain things. Like I don't like hyperliquid right now. It's just something a little off-putting about it right now. Just a little off-putting. Um, but if I let that get in the way of my thinking, I'm going to lose money. I don't want to lose money. 0.886. I'm just fixing this because it was based on the close and not an HL2. I actually don't need that anymore. Put it right here. Oh shit. Still has to close on the weekly. It's so crazy because it doesn't even look like we actually, when we got our drop down, that's where we landed. It looked like we landed cleanly there. Looked like I'm over. Why am I over? This looks over. Yeah, we didn't land there. Maybe if I pushed it to there, then it did land there. It didn't touch it. Um, I don't even know what time frame I drew this off of. I know I would have never did that off of this time frame. So I know I didn't draw from here. It must have been a 4 hour time frame. BTC, 15-minute ray cross. Let me just check that out. And let me just double check because it's been doing this. Like I said, if from now, if it does it, I'm just going to look at it, you know, like this to see how authentic it is. Maybe it does a VWAP bounce. Maybe that's all it does. It's a VWAP bounce. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, could just do that VWAP bounce. I think tech's gonna get a short squeeze. I can tell you what I'm looking at right now that I really don't like it anymore, but chain link alerts going off too. I got a ton of alerts, guys. I apologize. Yeah, it's gonna pull back with Bitcoin right now. The other way we looked at it doesn't suggest that it's a successful pullback, but if it does, again, maybe we could do something here at this VWAP right here, this 1 year VWAP. I'm gonna see if it does what it does. Um, or if it's just gonna boost off of it. I could move this trend line right here. Honestly, there's no alert on this one. I promise you. Yeah, that would make sense on the VWAP as well. Something like that if we get it. But uh, I need a double confirmation right now. Yeah, none of this stuff in here actually matters again. It doesn't really matter right now. Like it's just a huge gap. It's a huge gap. And we're nowhere near. Like we're nowhere near yeah, see that's why I've been doing that. Look at that little green candle trying to come in. If you don't get your behind down here. That's why I've been having to do that because I don't know if I can trust anything right now. Cannot trust anything right now. Stop. It probably breaks it right below. Oh, good lord. Below there. I have dragged something with me from somewhere. I'm trying to figure out where it came from. Oh, must be this. Current interval only. At this point, I don't even think it really matters whether or not it pulls back a little bit or pushes into this golden pocket. I really don't think it matters right now, right? Does it? Like, it doesn't. I'm about to delete some alerts. Look, I'm alerted up. I need to sleep. And they already active. I need to sleep. I ain't getting no sleep. I think we're gonna get a short squeeze in the stock market though. Look, that MU alert that went off, right? So we were looking at MU yesterday, and MU ended up doing that nice little push up right before market open. Market opened up, and it just faltered. It's been putting in those bear divs, but like I said, 15,000 shares hit the market probably more than likely. Let me just check and see. I'm gonna leave that right there, but I just want to check and see. No, it's still read proposed from the 18th. It'll probably pop up here today that they actually already sold those 15,000 shares into the market on the 18th, likely. So it's just been putting in the bear deals, but it's still the momentum is still holding that low that we made, which was the 816, I believe it was. Google. Stop it, Google. Stop it, Google. I'm gonna kill some alerts. I promise y'all. I'm going to delete some of my alerts. I got a lot of freaking alerts going off. Google failing on me. Apple still looking good. It's not failing on me. It's just not. It's not going the way I want it to go right now. But BNB again. MU is still holding that low from that actually it took out that low yesterday. It did 915.24. I was saying 916. The actual price on it was 915.84, and that low ended up being 915.24. Not bad. It's still holding that low, but this thing look like it's just gonna fall to the floor. I ain't lying. MU look like it's gonna. I don't know. I don't think that little zone we got gonna keep holding it. I know that much. It looked like it clearly lost that trend line too. Come on down, Betty. See what we can't do. Even if it's just to the golden pocket, I need to get back in here. I need to get back in here. But I should have went with my greed yesterday. I'm glad I didn't though. I'm honestly glad I didn't go with my greed yesterday. I should have went with my greed yesterday, honey. Oof, honey. I should have went with it. After 5 agonizing days of sitting in that long trade, feeling like we weren't ever going to get anywhere. And then you know, finally starting to see some progress. But again, those forced liquidations help fuel price action up. Those forced liquidations absolutely help fuel price up. Like you'll see on coin glass, like when you take out that much liquidity, how you start to, and we looked at that yesterday too, yesterday morning before, where we were at in terms of getting into that liquidity. We were pretty close to getting into it. I didn't expect for it to do all of that though. I can say that. I did not expect for it to make it do all of that. I knew we had that squeeze at the same time, which is why I talked about possibly getting greedy. And then I said, don't get greedy. You made it. And if it weren't for BNB, I would have been really hurt because I at least still had the BNB when I hit my take profit on Bitcoin. I at least had BNB open, and so that was helpful. Add a few more gains to my little account, and it's a little account too. Um, It still ain't did. Look, this little pump still has done nothing for my crypto portfolio. The best performing asset in my crypto portfolio is Chainlink, literally Chainlink, and it's probably because Chainlink was the only one when I did my DCA plan that did not lose its lose its bear market lows. It's the only one that didn't go that bad. So the rest of them did. I'm still down 70% on SUI. I'm still down 70% on H bar, 70% on XRP. I'm down, I think I'm down, no, I should not be down as much on, I know I'm down 70% on those three. I know that much is true. Um, but I'm down a lot on some of those altcoins there. I just want to see if that mean reversion comes in close to that. Uh, yeah, the mean reversion sits on that VWAP. So it could be that it back test here. A little candle is already showing that buyers are trying to step in right here. 4 minutes left on this candle right now. I don't think that we have any data this morning either. Let me just make sure before I go. See if there's anything today. Yeah, Philly Fed at 8:30 and unemployment claims at 8:30. They're medium impactful information, especially coming behind yesterday's Fed meeting. Um, but nothing really too much to worry about in my opinion right now. I don't think that I would look for any more than something like this because I do think that it gets to the golden pocket. So maybe it's really slow right now. These moves down are really slow, and that just tells you that the bulls don't have any strength right now. I mean, the bears are lacking strength, and bulls are able to absorb it. People are FOMOing in right now. So maybe it does this 1 year VWAP or potentially this trend line right here before it gets into the golden pocket. So I mean that's a little decent move, I would say, if it did that. Let me see if I can't. Yeah, it'll snap on that one. So 3%, 3 to 4% move is really good for Bitcoin if it can get there and it's not just gonna bounce away from here. Uh, 2 minutes left. It's not gonna show it breaching, likely. Um, and then off of this trend line right here, just a little bit more, maybe 5% move possibility. I think it's going to take some time if it's going to come down. So I'm just going to do something more like right in here. Yeah, about a 3 to 5% move. It's a nice little candle. Something to think about once it closes anyway. I wonder if this even reacted. It didn't. It's weird. Okay. Cool. Take you off of there. Look like I got this in here multiple times. Why? Um, I must have drew it out myself personally. I got it in here so many times. But that again, that is a 1 year VWAP. I think I'm gonna let it go from here, guys. That's just what I would watch for. If you can get a tap into this VWAP right here, it's gonna also be like a mean reversion here on the 15-minute time frame, or maybe this trend line right through here. If price pushes back up above this candle because it has this little bottom and tail on it, then it may be able to find some continuation from here up. No closure below there. May be able to just find a continuation from here and go up. As it stands right now, I'm not gonna look to take any shorts yet. Golden pocket, sure. I'll look once we get into there. From here, it's gonna be looking to enter a new long position. Not looking for big pullbacks just yet. But definitely, again, like I said, big resistance, big shelf of resistance right here. Monthly time frame resistance here comes below that 71,320.68, and then it starts to struggle to push back through it, because a lot of times you'll break through it initially. Whatever gave you the energy to break through it initially won't be the same energy when you come below it, and then you try to push back up into it. You're going to end up struggling a little bit. So same situation between this and between that. And then, like I said, if you add your VWAP in here off of your low of 2022 right here, you just add your VWAP off of the low of 2022, find that you're only tapping into your standard deviation 1 right now. I mean to do that upper band. You're tapping into your standard deviation 1. You're just slightly at that. You're slightly above your 1 year VWAP as well, with the major resistance, just big resistance through here altogether. Golden pocket just on the horizon makes sense to me, that it has to, that it would get into the golden pocket, which is why I'm just kind of sitting on it right now, just waiting to see, even though we're at big resistance. I've waited on 382 to get hit in here before, and it didn't hit the 382. Like, it didn't hit the 382. This last move right here didn't hit the 382, and then on this one right here, it didn't hit the 382 either. So sometimes it just doesn't make it all the way there. But it's too high in the clouds over here on your RSI to really just consider being unrealistic with your short. Let me just put it to you like that. Can you short? Yeah, you scalp, you can do those kind of things, but I would not be. I wouldn't be like, I'm gonna take my short from here down to 50,000. Like, that's not realistic. It really isn't realistic right now, until we do start to see consolidation from the higher time frame, at least from a 4-hour time frame perspective. But big resistance right now for Bitcoin, as we are seeing price action stall out right here, not really going much higher where we're at. But the more times you see it hammering at it, then expect for it to be broken. It was the same thing when we were down here. Price action continued to hammer at the highs, and won that battle. So that's just what I think about it. I'm not gonna FOMO on that though. I know that's for sure. But it can be a decent 3 to 5% move. That's a nice swing to the upside. I have to see you taking out this candle right here though to give me some faith. Because if we got this little bottom and tail and they can't do it, then it might be a little weaker right here than we anticipate. And it's buying into resistance too, which is meant to be broken, but it is buying into resistance. So damn if you do, damn if you don't. Don't need that anymore. I sure don't need that. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Be careful FOMOing. Please be careful FOMOing. The move was a huge move, a huge daily move. So just be a little careful with the FOMOing, and just wait for something to break. Love and appreciate you.